Hi everybody. In this video, I want to share briefly with you what are some of Maslow's findings, scientific findings regarding love. Now, this is very important to be clear about because we are not reading about Maslow's opinions about self-actualization and how to live the best life possible. I mean, his work is the result of study and scientific research, studying people who lived and at their optimal existential condition. I've said that many times before. So, so let's start with this quote, a quote that I used in the past. Maslow says, the state of being, the state of existence, or the state of living without a system of values is psychopathological. It's bad. Okay, you need a system of values, moral values to live by. The human being needs a framework of values, a philosophy of life, a religion or religion surrogate to live by and understand by to make sense of the world in about the same sense that he needs sunlight, calcium, or love. That is a brutal quote. We need love, friends, as much as we need calcium, vitamins, food, water. We need morality to the same extent as much as we need these things. These are almost biological needs. I've heard recently a psychologist making the claim that there should not be any distinction between psychology and biology, which I found pretty interesting. But but it's part of who we are biologically speaking. We need moral values and we need love. Now, let's see what Maslow says about love in Towards the Psychology of Being. Maslow writes, not only does love perceive potentialities, but it also actualizes them. Potentialities, talents, things that are in us that are waiting to be discovered, tapped into. They're waiting to manifest themselves. Good, we're talking about good things, things that have to do with growth. Okay, they're there. And love can not only recognize them, but it can actualize them. The absence of love certainly stifles potentialities and even kills them. The absence of love. Personal growth demands courage, self-confidence, and even daring. This is necessary. We need that courage, self-confidence, and so on. And non-love from the parent or the mate produces the opposite, produces fear, lack of confidence, and so on. So it's so important, my goodness, love, how much love it's important in our lives, and how amazingly love can actually trigger, initiates desires in us that probably we were never aware of. What Maslow calls potentialities. And there's one more quote I want to share with you. It's a beautiful quote. He says, a husband's conviction that his wife is beautiful, or a wife's firm belief that her husband is courageous, to some extent, creates the beauty or the courage. Now, he emphasizes the word create. That's amazing. A wife's conviction or a husband's conviction that his wife is beautiful makes the wife beautiful. A wife's conviction that her husband is courageous makes the husband courageous. This is so true. Like there's so many examples that I can give you, but two comes to mind, and because these are recent things that I was exposed to. One is a movie called Monster, 2003 movie. Charlize Theron, she won the Oscar for Best Actress, and this is one of the top 10 best performances that I've seen in an actress in my whole lifetime. I mean, her acting is unbelievable. It's superb. It's unbelievable. You must watch this movie, Monster, 2003. And in this movie, we have this woman who was grew up in misery, in the middle of abuse, neglect, alcoholism, and she was pretty much forced to prostitute herself since she was very, very young. So she never experienced love until she meets this young woman who finds her very attractive and takes a serious interest in her. And so the protagonist is conflicted because she never loved a woman before. And so at the beginning, she rejects this young lady's attempts to get to know her and at a more sentimental level. But then she realizes that this young lady really cares about her, and this is something that she never experienced before, and she's absolutely transformed by this young lady's love. And so the protagonist, she never worked in anything. She never cared about going to college and becoming a professional in anything. So she just prostituted herself. That's what she did for a living. But when she met this young lady and she felt loved for the first time, she decided to do something positive with her life. She started thinking about getting a job. She began applying to jobs in offices and stuff, and she began for the first time to be mindful of being a better person simply because there was somebody else who cared about her, who loved her. And that made all the difference in the world. It's a sad story, I have to say, based on true events, based on a true individual. So it's not the most uplifting movie to watch, but it's quite something. It's quite realistic, and you see that example, right, of somebody who never cared about being a good person until she felt loved, and she felt that desire to be a good person, to find a job, go to school, and so on. So this is incredible. It's so true. Love. It's just so important. And then the other example, it's a book that I'm reading. I started reading about a week ago. It's called Growth of the Soil by an author, Knut Hansen, who he won the Nobel Prize in Literature early in the 1900s. Controversial figure because he associated himself with Nazi Germany, and so he fell into tremendous discredit. And but his books are really good. So I'm reading this book, Growth of the Soil, and it's interesting how there's this young couple who are farmers, pretty much something like that, and and they're very rough. They have no education, but every time the husband would come home from work, and he would just desire her wife to say something positive about him, and the wife, she does. She would say, "Oh, you're amazing. Oh, you're such a hard worker," and he felt so encouraged, and he felt so empowered by those words that he gave him enough energy to continue going out and continue working. And his work was not easy, I gotta say. But man, if you have somebody telling you these things, believing in you, encouraging you, telling you, I love you, I care for you, you matter to me, what you're doing, it's really important. Gosh, friends, you know what? Uh, we will have no limit to what we can do. Like honestly, and no exaggerating. Love is so important. It's true. It's true that people often get hurt and majorly disappointed in sentimental relationships, and that's really a problem. As a matter of fact, for many years I believed that that was nonsense. How much the entertainment industry, movies, television, they exploit this idea of love and romance like it's the best thing in the world, and I never liked that idea. Um, and but it's true. It's true that love can trigger, can awaken those potentialities, that capacity to be better. Gosh, if only people could love the right way, don't you think? If we could find that person who cares for us enough to give us the energy, the gasoline, right, to go out and confront the world and be a better person and feel inspired. And without forgetting that we must be the exact same person to that person we love, right? Because it's reciprocal. It's reciprocal. That person needs as much our love as much as we need her or his love. So, like Maslow says right here, husband convictions that his wife is beautiful, or a wife's firm belief that her husband is courageous, to some extent creates the beauty and the courage. So it's reciprocal. So what a wonderful thing love is, friends. And gosh, I'm sounding so ugh, I don't want to say so cliche, right? But it has enough evidence and studies behind that idea. So I hope this was helpful, and I really hope and pray that you find that person that encourages you, inspires you, and makes you be a better person, and that you can be the same person for him or her. Bye bye. See you next time.